Hey creeps, it's Cameron again, and welcome back to my channel where I talk about books, movies, writing, and all things spooky. On this episode of Library Macabre, I will be reviewing One for the Road by Wesley Southard. One for the Road is published by Deadite Press and is the latest offering from author Wesley Southard. Chiming in at just under 100 pages, One for the Road is the story of Rot in Hell, which is a metal band that is touring when they end up in the middle of an abandoned town that is filled with monsters and strange creatures. First off, I will say that Deadite Press never fails in the cover department. I think this cover is absolutely awesome. It reminds me of like a Lovecraftian version of Alice in Wonderland, which is pretty much what you get from this story. But as cool and creepy as this cover is, there's one thing that it does not portray very well, and that is the fact that this is a very funny book. This is actually a straight up horror comedy. The dialogue is full of witty banter, the narrative is hilariously crude, and the plot does not take itself seriously at all. Even the monsters in this book had me chuckling, so don't go into this expecting scares. Wesley Southard is not afraid to get really wacky with the plot and then get even wackier from there. Fortunately, I really liked that about this book, but that is going to turn off some people, so it's really about what you like and what you don't like. So if you don't like bonkers horror comedies, then I would say maybe steer away from this. But if you do like that kind of thing, I think you're really going to dig this book. Even though One for the Road is very funny and filled with personality, it isn't without its darker elements. As the metal band travels through this hellish landscape that they're trapped in, their own conflicts with one another escalate, causing them to turn on each other. This lends just a little bit of helplessness to the story that eventually leads to a very violent scene that had me cringing. So this is still a horror story after all. Now I'm going to talk about a few drawbacks that I have about this book. This is a novella, but there are quite a few characters, maybe a little too many for the author to focus on in this limited page count. So each character isn't very fleshed out. They're all kind of heavy metal cliches, kind of like you would see in an 80s horror film, which may have been a little bit intentional. Spencer, our protagonist, is decently fleshed out, but the rest of the characters are just kind of surface level and they don't really go above that at any point. Also, the ending was wrapped up very quickly and rather ambiguously, so that left a little bit to be desired. Overall, One for the Road is a very fun, very bonkers heavy metal adventure that I would recommend to people who like We Sold Our Souls by Grady Hendrix or the New Zealand film Deathgasm. If this appeals to you, then I definitely recommend checking it out because it's only like $7 on Amazon for the paperback. So it's a good deal. It's definitely worth the money. So there you go. That is my review of One for the Road by Wesley Southard. If you would like to order a copy for yourself, I will leave a link down below in the graveyard. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Later, creeps.